What is the best item in the game? Is it one of these big damage items like MKB or Daedalus? Is it one of these strong support utility items like Glimmer Cape or Force Staff? Is it maybe something more simple like a Magic Wand or Boots of Speed? Well, all these are great items, but there's really only one item that is absolutely great on every hero that they want to get in every single game, and that is the Humble Teleport Scroll. And it is especially strong on Lone Druid because you can get a new Spirit Bear, and that just allows you to regen up. It allows you to return to base to pick up your items without having to risk your courier, without having to wait for the courier to arrive. And we're going to see here Mu playing his Lone Druid make excellent use of this Town Portal Scroll, both on the bear as well as of course on his main hero.
My holiness deepens.
Welcome to the Church of Obelisk. You see Mu here playing Lone Druid, laning against BSJ as Legion Commander. He has a Lich by side, and this is not necessarily a very good lane for Lone Druid. Legion Commander is quite strong against Lone Druid in lane. There's two reasons for that. First of all is you have this Moment of Courage, which is quite strong against Lone Druid because you always have these two units attacking you, so you get double the chance of blocking Moment of Courage. And you also have Press the Attack, which can dispel the root from the bear, so Legion Commander is generally quite strong against Lone Druid. But they also have the problem with this double melee lane here against Lone Druid, which is generally not that good, because you of course have the ability to roar and always get away and disengage. And they also have this Lich, which is quite strong together with Lone Druid, because you just have so much slow and so much save with that Frost Shield. And as we speak here, Lich gets the kill on the courier here and runs away, uses his Salve to buy time. Now both these heroes are chasing Lich, and this is really good position here for Mu. He's getting so many free last hits and denies here, while everyone is still chasing this Lich. This is an important kill because it will be first blood, but still, they're just spending so much time on this. Tiny has Boots of Speed, so he's eventually going to catch this Lich, but for Lone Druid, this has been so nice. He's gotten so many last hits during that period. And BSJ now is quite far behind because he spent all his time chasing and he is not going to get the kill. Meanwhile, Lich is trying to deny himself to Roshan, but he is not quite going to be able to do it. And that's first blood for CCnC playing this Tiny, but Lich did not die in vain. This was a very worthwhile death because it just gives Lone such a big advantage in this lane now. And it's especially important, as we said, because it is a lane that's not very favorable for Lone Druids, naturally, in like a 1 vs 1 matchup. Lich is just trying to do some pull shenanigans here. Meanwhile, Tiny comes in, tosses the bat, not of course the target he wanted, but that's what he's going to get, and Tiny not taking a lot of damage. And of course this Tiny has boots first, he's bought some clarity so he doesn't have any regen, which is going to be quite a problem for him. Bear gets quite low here. He doesn't have the TP yet, so he's going to wait a little bit here. And they also brought in this Nyx here. Tried to get a kill, but not finding anything quite yet. So while the two supports are making things happen, Lone Druid is just last hitting. Lone Druid at this low level is not that good at actual fighting. Because yes, you do have the root now at early levels, whereas previously you only had the root once you're level 5. But this low level root just doesn't do very much. It's only 1.5 seconds right now, and it's not very easy to get kills. So you generally want to have like level 5 before you do any real fighting, and even then you really want to do some farming at the start. You sort of want to get like your phase boots and like your Mask of Madness or whatever other item you're going for, and then you're really ready to fight. And this thing is going really well for Lone Druid. It's now level 5, whereas Legion is still level 3 and is being gone on here, tries to TP out and is going to make it, but that is still of course even more free experience, even more free last hits for our Lone Druid. He has phase boost now, which means his aggressive potential is much higher now, because he can actually chase people, and This means that it's quite difficult for Legion to actually go into this lane, and she's going to be forced to do some sort of guerrilla farming. She's gonna maybe try to pull his wave, or just farm it down here, because she doesn't want to lane against this Lone Druid. With this level disadvantage that she has, being level 4 against level 6, you can no longer contest this Lone Druid. And yeah, there we have her here in the lane, just tanking those creeps, and thanks to a moment of courage, she can do this and stay reasonably healthy. And they're going to try to disrupt this, so Lone Druid is going to finish up these creeps here, and then can maybe TP down here to try to get a kill here, and TPC behind the tree, very importantly, not to, that the Legion can't see it. And then I'm going to try to chase her, but didn't get the setup quite right, and tries to go for the entangle, but unfortunately he doesn't get lucky. And if you do get the entangle, you still have press the attack, so this is not really a kill that's very likely to happen. So just going back to the lane, didn't really lose any creeps here in the meantime, and can just go back to farming. He pushed at the wave, and now he's going to try to disrupt this Legion once again. Coming around with the bear from the other side, but Legion's run up here, so he can't catch her, but at least this means that these creeps go through, and Legion can't find them, and now he's hurrying back to the tower, and he does not in fact miss any creeps, so very well done here. Finds an arcane ring, immediately sends it back to his team, because you don't need the mana on Lone Druid, and you can just always chase away this Legion, but you're not really chasing after her too much, you just want to keep her from farming. It's not important to kill her, as long as she doesn't farm much, you're very happy. So this stage of the game, you just want to stay here for a while, just farm this camp, push in this wave, and stay here at least until the runes spawn. And there's some fighting going on here, but he doesn't want to join, because if he TP's out now, then that means that he's going to give up the runes, and he just wants to keep those runes, he wants to keep this farm here. From this lane, he's just TP'd back the bat to pick up a Mask of Madness, and every time he does that, he also picks up another Town Portal Scroll. Picks up the runes with the bear. Meanwhile, the hero is here in the lane and gets all the farm. He's gone for Mask of Madness after Face Boots, very standard build, very strong and aggressive build that also is reasonably good at farming. So, of course, Mask of Madness gives a ton of attack speed, which is what Lone Druid's bear lacks, and it'll silence you, but that's not very important because you can still cast your Savage Roar from your hero. And he's gonna try to go for this courier, and thanks to the extra movement speed from Phase Boots, he gets the kill. And now he's just gonna try to protect this catapult here. That's why he's attacking with the bear here, otherwise the catapult would die. So chase this Legion coming away. She has a Clarity running, so you can cancel that, that's good. Most importantly, just keeping this catapult alive so that pressure is put on this tower. It gets the entangle here, but of course PhD can just dispel it, and at some point you have to let this catapult go. You don't want this bear to die, so he's going to heal up now with a Town Portal, using the best item in the game. And now he's going to TP top and help out there. It's quite a good time now to take this tower. The enemy team is not really strong enough right now to contest this, so you can just go here with 4 people and push on this tower, because once you have this Phase Boots and Mask of Madness, as well as a boost of speed here on your main hero, you're actually really strong. Right now he's probably the strongest hero in the game. Right now he's the highest net worth, and he has excellent levels, level 10 here. He's quite strong, he wants to force a fight, and this is the best tower to do it. So they still have to retreat here, with everyone is coming in here, and this Void Spirit is not with them, also no TP, so they're forced to fight without him, but you get this Enchantress, and Faceless Void also being gone on, being stun-locked, and he's gonna die. And Tiny is also in trouble as they chase him down, and with nice roots they get the kill. And now there's an easy tower kill. A long teamfight has been going on for quite a while now, and Lone Druid is still just farming here, and he's eventually going to join his team here as they're being chased down. Lich is quite low here, and He is not going to die. Lone Druid comes in here, roots this Ember, and nice stun locking here with the Lich combined. They get this kill on Ember, but Beast J is a little bit too fast here, and he is going to get away. But he gets a little bit too greedy, tries to farm this camp, and gets gone on here, and that is a dead BSJ. So, right now, Lone Druid going for a Skull Basher. So far this item build has been very canonical. It's Phase Boots, Mask of Madness, together with these smaller items. And then usually the next step would be either a Maelstrom or a Desolator, but instead he's going to go for a Skull Basher. Basher is an interesting item. It gives you as much damage on average as a Desolator. It's 25 damage plus 25% chance of dealing 100 damage, so that's 50 damage in total on average, and it's all physical damage. So the same damage, but instead of giving you this armor reduction, it gives you the best chance, and it's also considerably cheaper than Desolator, so it's actually a really good item, a good alternative to Desolator. And against the lineup that they're playing here with this Faceless Void and this Ember Spirit, extra disable is very valuable, so that's why it's going for this Basher build here, as they get here another kill on Tiny. Lone Druid is pushing this wave. Meanwhile, at the top, they're being dived, going on this Void Spirit and trying to kill him. And meanwhile, Moo is just going to keep killing this tower. This is an incredibly important tower. If you can get this tower kill, this is quite strong. So he gets the tower kill, and now he's going to join this fight. Nyx, of course, is quite tanky with that Frost Shield, but will eventually. BSJ being run down here thanks to this Sinister Gaze from Lich. He's going to die, and Faceless Void is also quite low here. Has to use a defensive chrono and a time walk away. So this was a fight that was still quite favorable for the enemy, but even so, they got the mid tower, which is good compensation. And Moo is going all in on this single target concept, so he's getting Desolator as his next item after Basher. Find this Enchantress, and she only has level 1 in Untouchable, which is not enough to protect her against this Lone Druid and this Nyx. And they're also going to kill this range creep, which is quite tanky, but only gives the same bounty as a regular range creep. So, as I was saying, with this Desolator together with the Basher is going to do the maximum amount of physical single target damage. But one thing, of course, that this build lacks is any sort of wave clear. So you only have single target damage. You don't farm particularly fast with this build. This Lone Druid is naturally a fairly fast farmer, but this is not the best farming build. But of course, it is very strong just in straight up fighting, and it's a very high tempo build. One thing I dislike about Moo's build is how barren his main hero's inventory is. He only has the boots, no stick or anything. I also feel like you should buy a couple of branches at the start of the game. Just fill up your inventory slot with some efficient stat items. Investing like 150 or 200 gold in a couple of branches, I think is so worth it, because you do not really need these slots for anything else, and branches are just so efficient. Moo's standing on his bear, trying to pick up runes, but this rune is already gone. And he's running around with this main hero here. He has picked up a haste rune, so he's just going to run around and see what he can find. Finds this Enchantress, so recalls the bear, and not going to try to kill this Enchantress. She still has only a level 1 in Untouchable, but she has the Ghost Scepter, so he's going to try to body block her a little bit, which works out nicely. And now he can chase her down, and with the help of the rest of his teammates, Lich coming in here, provides Frost Shield and gets the kill. Nicely done, and now they can take down this tier 1 tower with ease. Next item on the menu is this AC, which is very smart. You need 1 attack speed item after getting these 2 damage items, and AC of course provides attack speed from the Hyperstone, and also helps out with the armor problems, because this Spirit Bear has fairly low armor here, and the only armor item you're getting here so far is Phase Boots, and then you even have this Mask of Madness, which decreases your armor. And he's also gone for the Savage Throw cooldown talent, which is extremely strong, which is why I go for this, but it means you also have to forego the Spirit Bear armor talent, which is also strong. And right now they're Roshan, so gonna tank here with his main hero. Main hero is quite tanky, he has 15 armor, and he's been constantly healed by his passive ability from the bear, so you can do this, take no damage at all, and actually finish Roshan quite quickly thanks to all the single target damage that the Spirit Bear has in this build. Also, of course, this Imp Claw helps out a lot too. And so he takes Roshan, actually takes Aegis himself. Honestly, I would maybe have liked this better on like a Void Spirit, because with Lone Druid, Aegis is not that strong, because oftentimes the limiting factor is more the lives of your bear rather than your own hero. So personally, I would take this on Void Spirit, but it's also good on Lone Druid. It just means you can play very aggressively with your main hero and just run in there with your ultimate and just wreak havoc. So fight brewing at top, they already have this kill on Tiny. Legion Commander going in there, trying to go for the duel on Lich, but doesn't quite get it. And just being rooted now and killed. And he's just staying back with his hero here, being safe, which probably doesn't need to do because he has Aegis. But they do get these kills, and now the enemy is in full retreat, and Lone Druid is just going back and pushing out those waves, because that's a problem they have in this game. The enemy is quite good at split pushing, so you actually have to constantly keep those waves pushed in, because if you just have 5 people going on this tower at top, yes, you're going to get a tower, but you're also probably going to take some damage, maybe even lose a tower of your own. And the reason Mu is doing so well in net worth is in large part that he's been pushing out all those waves. He's not, even though he has gone for this very fighting build, he's still done a lot of farming. Just because you go for a fighting build doesn't mean that you can just stop farming. You're still the position 1 hero here in this game. You're still the one who's supposed to carry this game, because no one else can carry the game here in this lineup. Like, this Void Spirit is great, he can fight, he can make plays. Same for this Pangolier, but these are not the kind of heroes that can carry the game for you. This is the job of Lone Druid. Lone Druid has to be the one who actually does the building damage, who can actually scale in late game if necessary. But of course, with this build, you sort of want to finish the game relatively early, which of course makes sense with this lineup. So they're going with this high ground, they get this tier 3 tower, and he's going for the safe choice, they're going for the range racks, and that's also going for the melee racks. He has the Aegis, he can afford to stand here, still as a resummon, so this is very safe, and they can maybe get this melee racks. Resummons now is getting healed up by a healing self provided, I think, from Nyx or from Lich, not sure. And they get the racks, and now it's time to back off a little bit. But Void Spirit thinks otherwise. He's going to go in here and try to start a fight. Chrono gets used, faces Void, not really doing much here. A good Chain Frost here, but still it's not necessarily the best fight here. They only have 2 people dead, and they have to get out. So this is a fighting retreat kind of. They try to save the Pangolier, but don't manage to do so. He TP's out, and he gets out, but his bear is going to suffer. Bear is quite low, but still alive somehow. He's just trying to juke this, but doesn't work. So now he has no bear, no resummon. He has the Aegis, but can't really do anything with it. So right now the goal is just to defend for 60 seconds before you get this bear back. The enemy aren't really using this time very effectively. Maybe they don't quite realize that there's no resummon. They really should know, because they saw the bear being resummoned in the earlier fight, but maybe they just didn't pay attention. So they're not really pressing the advantage right now, and now the bear's almost back, so they can go and seek another fight. But of course, there's a lot of split pushing going on, and tries to catch that Ember Spirit, but to no avail. And now the bear's back, and The AC is completed, so Lone Druid is now really strong, and you generally don't want to fight like right now if you can help it, because you want to wait for your resummon to be up, or at least be sort of close to done the cooldown. But still, they're so much stronger right now in this game that they can afford to take this risk of fighting without the resummon. The resummon is almost up, so you definitely can take another big fight here now. And they're posturing outside the base, but this constant split pushing is really a bother here. All the lanes being pushed in, but they find Race's Void. He's forced to use BKB to escape, as well as using a Chronosphere just defensively. And then full retreat now, and you just can chase now. You have this catapult wave coming in, but it's being pulled here by BSJ, trying desperately to delay this game. Trying to buy time for this Tiny to come back up, as well as time for this Chronosphere, which is going to be a long time still. So right now you can just press this advantage. You have this wave with the catapult. As long as you keep that wave alive, you can do a lot of damage. They can't get megas because they're still tier 2 here, but they could take this lane. But instead they're going to try to catch some of these split pushing heroes. And we even see this Lone Druid now queuing up an Aghanim Scepter. Usually Aghanim Scepter is an item that you want to go for, either as like a very late game luxury item, or as like a plan B type of item, where if the game is not going well, you can't win straight up fights, you go for this Aghanims to do some split pushing and try to maybe win the game through that. Because of course the bear is really good at destroying buildings. But here in this game they're going for this Aghanims to stop the split push, because then you can just TP with the bear to a lane to push out that lane again, and then go and return to your hero. I'm not sure if this is really the best item. Maybe just going for something like a Mjolnir would be better. It also allows you to push out the waves more easily, and it also gives you a lot of damage in fights. The enemy are coming in here. They're going to try to find this kill on the Lone Druid. The Lone Druid dies here fairly easily, but all the reinforcements are coming in, and now the DotA team is very deep here. Pango sort of fighting against everyone, keeping them occupied while the rest of his team arrives, and Lone Druid doesn't have buyback. Of course, on Lone Druid you often don't want to save for buyback, because your buyback is generally quite weaker, because you often die with the Spirit Bear on cooldown. But still, even without Lone Druid, they just have such a big advantage right now that they can actually win this fight, even being down their main carry and their most charmed hero. Get this Ember Spirit, and this BSJ Legion Commander is trying to fight her way out of this, but there really is no way. And she gets killed, and this is a team wipe, losing only Lone Druid. So the thing about Lone Druid is that he's actually quite tanky, so even though they were able to kill him, it forced him to commit quite deeply and use a lot of heroes. So this allowed the team then to catch them out of position and eventually win this fight. And with this big advantage, the game is almost won. But of course, the problem here with this lineup from the Radiant is that the only real building damage is from Lone Druid, so they have to kind of wait for him before they can really take down these objectives. But Pangoli is putting a valiant effort. But now that the cavalry has arrived, this tower falls much quicker, and they can now go and take megas or even throne. And Moo's just going after these buildings. He doesn't really care what the rest of his team are doing. He just wants to take those structures. That's his job. His job is to get the buildings, and let the rest of the team worry about these heroes. Now that they're committing, you can go and fight, of course. But primarily you just want to put the enemy in the clock by hitting those buildings. And then when they come, you do this fighting, and they win the fight. And that is going to end the game. So Town Portal, best item in the game. It's especially strong on Spirit Bear, and thanks to all this healing and sustain he got from TPing back his bear, he was able to win his lane and then later on the game. And if you want to see more Lone Druid content, subscribe to this channel, ring the bell, and take a look at these other games of Lone Druid that I've covered recently. And Obelisk willing, I'll see you there.